Oklahoma is fast becoming one of the worst states in the country, as Libs of TikTok creator Kaya Rychik will now be deciding what students in the state will be allowed to read. Daily Beast reports that Rychik has been appointed to the Oklahoma State Department of Education's Library Media Advisory Committee. Now, Rychik doesn't even live in the state of Oklahoma, but it doesn't matter. Superintendent Ryan Walters made the announcement on Tuesday saying, Kaya is on the front line showing the world exactly what the radical left is all about. And then goes on to say the exact opposite of what they're about, lowering standards, porn in schools, and pushing woke indoctrination on our kids. Ah, yes. You know.
The wokers.
Got to talk about the woke.
Woke.
Okay. Now, he continues, because of her work, and I'll explain her work, by the way. Families across the country know just what's going on in the schools around the country. Her unique perspective is invaluable as part of my plan to make Oklahoma schools safer for kids and friendly to parents. Unless, of course, you're a parent to an LGBTQ child or a child who doesn't want to get, shot in school. Kaya has a much needed and powerful voice, as well as a tremendous platform that will benefit Oklahoma students and their families. Ah, yes, her platform and her work, yes. Now, speaking of her work, she's done a lot to encourage violence against hospitals and school teachers and librarians. In August, Libs of TikTok posted about a so-called woke school librarian in Tulsa, which prompted a flurry of bomb threats, with anxious parents keeping their children home rather than risk their children dying in an explosion. Last year, she also shared the address of a planned drag show in Salt Lake City, which led to armed Proud Boys showing up and menacing everybody there. And then hospitals in Washington, D.C., Boston, Seattle, Chicago, and Portland, Oregon, have been on the receiving end of violent threats over Rychik's claims that clinicians there were, quote-unquote, mutilating children, with gender-affirming care. Oklahoma, of course, a former teacher who expressed support for LGBTQ plus kids rejected by their parents. Hey, you're loved. It doesn't matter who you are. We love you here, all right? No, apparently they want to let you know, Libs of TikTok wants you to know that you are not welcome here. In fact, this former teacher, was inundated with death threats following a Libs of TikTok post. So just, even saying, hey, you're loved, you're appreciated, you are who you are, and we don't care that you're LGBTQ. That's enough to get you just bogged down with right-wing death threats. Of course. She ended up resigning. Now, how does she do this? How does she do this? What is she using her platform for? Fearing people, basically. Anybody who supports LGBTQ students is called a groomer, a pedophile. Okay? She's also lied about gender-affirming care at these hospitals, basically equating it with genital surgeries, and that's it. Now, of course, these people are obsessed with children's genitals. It's so weird that you're obsessed with trans people and their genitals and the surgeries and all that stuff. It's all they talk about. When in reality, of course, there's an age limit for gender reassignment surgery, and that's not what all gender-affirming care is. And by the way, that's not what all trans people go through. There are many trans people who decide not to get those surgeries. And that's totally fine because everybody's different. And it's their business, not ours. All right? And it's also not our business what the parents decide for children that are LGBTQ. In fact, look, all the medical groups that support gender-affirming care have to consistently push back on falsehoods pushed by people who have watched Libs of TikTok or have, listened to people like Kaya Rychik speaking. Because she doesn't know what she's talking about, and she is constantly lying on purpose because she has built a platform, she has built a brand. Doctors are not handing out surgeries to 5-year-olds, okay, gender affirming care. That's not what that means. That's not reality. But it doesn't matter, because for her, all you have to do is keep repeating a lie until people believe it. That's it. This entire thing has always been about using children as a proxy to attack the LGBTQ plus community and their allies. That's it. To try to deny them rights, to deny them the right to be who they are in public. That's it. I mean, they used to use these same attacks against, the gay community, okay? They used to say that gay men are coming for your children and turn them gay and against God. It's the same thing. They're saying the same thing against trans people. They added a couple of extra steps, of course, since it's not really as kosher, to go and attack gay people outright, even though you still see members of the far right that are attacking the gay community. But now they're saying, oh, see, it's the trans women that are actually just gay men in dresses that are coming to corrupt your kids. In reality, of course, the people that are coming for your kids aren't drag queens, aren't trans people. No, it's actually the right wing. They constantly vote against banning child marriage in different states. They constantly talk about 15-year-old girls being good marriage material. Oh, and they're so fertile. And there's all the talk about, of course, and this is especially true among the, Andrew Tate fan base, and, some of these other manosphere influencers, incels, etc. They're talking about making sure to get a woman young because, by the time they're 30, they're all used up. They're worthless. That's what the far right thinks of women. In reality, they got to get them young because they're impressionable. I don't know. That sounds like grooming to me. Just saying. Just saying. In fact, let me show you here an example of one far right influencer who's not so far removed from Libs of TikTok that has become pretty popular among that group. And that's her, H. Pearl Davis, who said 16-year-old chicks are hotter than 26-year-old chicks. Now you can see that was deleted. By the way, the person who posted that, 26. And far-right influencer, she has nearly 2 million subscribers, to her YouTube channel. And again, she's not that far removed from Kaya Rychik, who again, always call groomer, pedo, groomer, LGBTQ. And then you got Pearl Davis over there saying, oh, 16-year-old girls, super hot. Really? Really? But again, all part of the same kind of movement, going after LGBTQ rights, going after women's rights as well. That same person doesn't want women to be able to vote or have any control over their bodies, no bodily autonomy. Same kind of far-right movement. And they promote book bans. Book bans that Rychik has been massively in favor of. Now, getting back to Oklahoma and Ryan Walters, who, again, said, hey, come on to Oklahoma. Help us ban some books. Oklahoma ranks 4th in the nation for the total amount of books that have been banned, 43 titles prohibited in schools, according to free speech nonprofit PEN America. Walters, who was sworn in Oklahoma's education superintendent back in January of 2023, has also compared teachers' unions to terrorist organizations, claimed Tulsa public schools had been taken over by Chinese government agents, and has appeared at events hosted by the Moms for Liberty group, or Moms for Fascism, as we like to call them. But again, Moms for Shoplifting, Moms for relationships that are three-way. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just the hypocrisy of the whole situation with Bridget and Christian Ziegler. All of that. Look, Crystal LaGrone, chair of the Wagoner County Democratic Party, said she couldn't imagine the things that Walters would do with his power. Elections have consequences, she told Daily Beast in August. And we get people like Ryan Walters in positions of authority where they really don't have any expertise and are attention-seeking. Feels like he wants to make a name for himself, not help the kids of Oklahoma. Well, look, all these far-right groups, they don't want to actually do the right thing for kids. In fact, there's a push among the far right to get children to work full 40-hour work weeks or 30 to 40-hour work weeks now, when they're supposed to be in school, getting an education, making something better of their lives. No, we got to bring back child labor and child marriage. And by the way, look at that hot 16-year-old. Wow, she's so fertile. It's almost as if, they're the ones that are going after children and grooming children. I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of projection going on here from these people. Look, the thing is, getting back to Rychick, okay? Hiring her on is definitely a way to try to damage education in the state. For sure. But also to give himself more notoriety. Oh, look, I hired the Libs of TikTok lady. Maybe he'll use this as a springboard to run for higher office, where, he can use that power to try to destroy more lives and to destroy education even further. At the end of the day, it's important to note that power, power just for power's sake doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, really. Not to me, anyway. No, you get power for a reason, to try to use it. And I think he's going to try to use it for is to enact the most amount of cruelty he can towards the powerless.